You guys remember the word equation?
Yeah.
What's special about the word equation? What would you have in an equation? An equal sign. That's right. So in an equation we have can you do me a favor and look at the sheet from yesterday and the day before yesterday and tell me if these things that you had, the questions that you had to do, if they had an equation or not, if they had an equal sign. No. So what do we call these? Expressions. That's right. So an expression doesn't have an equal sign. So basically what you were doing yesterday, you were just collecting like term and simplifying, making it smaller. Okay? What we're gonna do today, we're gonna actually solve. Okay? And you can only solve with an equal sign. So if you have an equal sign, you can solve. If you don't have an equal sign, like the one that we did yesterday and the day before, you can't solve. You can just simplify. Okay? So to solve an equation, you need to move all the numbers to one side and the variable to the other. In other terms, you need to isolate for the variable. Okay? So remember that in an equation we have a variable which is a letter, right? And we have numbers, which is like, let's say x plus 5 equals to something, right? So that 5 is the letter. So you want to move the numbers all to one side, and you want to move the letters all to the other side, and then try to isolate for that variable. Okay? For the variable, the opposite operation must occur. Yes.
To opposite equation, can we call it undo?
Yes. Yeah.
What does it say in the brackets?
Isolate for the variable.
What's the plus sign for there after occur?
There's no, that's just my cursor.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah. I think what I did is I messed up where I'm a one on right hand thing. It's okay. No, I mean, I should have wrote this here, and I should have wrote this here, and I should have wrote just isolate the variable on the top.
Oh no, should I rewrite it?
You know what? Instead of rewriting, I'm just gonna write arrows. Yeah, but if I put yeah, we can do that here. Why don't we do that? So this has to go down here. And I don't know how I messed this up. And then this should go down here. I'm thinking ahead. Okay. You guys okay with this?
Yeah, 1 second.
So in that to solve an equation, you just have to write isolate for the variable.
What do you write out for the last one that was there to isolate?
This one?
What do you put for the first one now then?
So for the first one, to solve an equation, isolate for the variable. Okay? Now to isolate for the variable, you need to move all the numbers to one side and the variables to the other side. And to move the numbers and terms, you have to do the opposite operation. You guys okay with this now? So, to remove any brackets, you have to multiply the number on the outside with all the terms in the inside. Do you guys remember that if I had, let's say, this, right? I have to remove the brackets. And to remove the brackets, eyes on the board for a minute, please. You have to multiply that 2 by every term inside the bracket. You guys remember that? Okay, so to remove any brackets, you remove any brackets by multiplying the number on the outside of the bracket by with all terms on the inside. Are we okay with this?
That's right.
Are we okay with this? So that 2 has to be multiplied by x, so that's going to give you 2x. And then that 2 is going to have to be multiplied by that 3, so it's going to give you plus 6. After you remove the bracket and you have no more bracket, then you want to collect like term and isolate the variable. By collecting like terms and isolating the variable. Okay. So the question is solve and check the following equation. So the main question is solve. Okay? This is what the question will be asking you to solve. So in order to solve, I want the variable by itself, everything else away from it. Do you guys understand that part? Okay. You want the variable by itself and everything else on the other side of the equation. Okay?
The variable always comes first, right?
What do you mean? Like, no, it doesn't have to. Like sometimes you will have something that looks like this. Right? Still, you want the x here and then the x on one side and then moving everything to the other side.
Okay.
Okay? I remember when I asked you the question, you said that you guys prefer if we do the offer, like if we do this. So what do I do to get rid of the 4? I want to get rid of the 4, right? Yes?
You want to add to the 4, no?
Sorry?
You want to add to the 4, no?
So do you want, to get rid of the 4, what do you do? What's the opposite of adding 4?
Subtract.
Subtract. So I remember you guys liked it better if I do this, right? You guys liked it better this way?
Okay, that way, yeah, sure.
Yeah? Okay. So if I subtract 4, what's 4 minus 4?
0.
0. And the whole idea is that now we don't have the 4 here anymore. It's equal to 10, take away 4, which is 6. Done. So you see what happened? What's the opposite operation of adding 4? So that's what I did. Whatever I do it to one side, I have to do it to the other side. So I subtracted 4 from this, and I subtracted 4 from that. So I ended up with x equals to 6. Right? Makes sense? Okay. Now we're going to check our solution because the second part of your equation says check the following. Okay? So checking your answer means x equals to 6, correct?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to replace x with a 6. Replace x with its value, which is 6, and see if the left side is equal to the right side. Okay? So 6 plus 4? 10. So 10 equals to 10. That means my left side equal to my right side. So that's a good solution. Okay? Let's say your solution that you got is 7, not 6. Let's say you did this and you got 7. Right? What happens if I place 7 here? So it's going to be 7 plus 4 equals 10. What's 7 plus 4? Is 11 equal to 10? So that means there's something wrong. Go back and check your work. You see what we're doing? So by checking, that means I'm making sure that my answer is correct. If I don't get this left side equal to the right side, then there's something wrong in my solution. Go back and check. Are we okay with this?
Let me just write this down one second.
For the first one, how you subtracted it from 4, are you just subtracting the first number?
You're subtracting whatever number is with the x. Right? Because you want to get rid of that 4,
So
right?
for B, so it's x minus 4. So
Uh-huh.
4 is the number that's with x.
Yes.
Okay.
So since you're subtracting 4, what would the opposite operation be?
Adding.
Adding. So that means you have to add 4 to both sides.
Okay.
Okay?
Well, what's L dot S mean in our
Left side and right side.
Oh, okay.
So x would equal 18.
10 plus 4 is?
That's 14 then, right?
Yeah.
So now I'm confused.
Okay.
4 plus 4 is 8.
No. Negative 4 plus 4 is 0.
Okay. Okay.
Right?
It is, as good as I have given you 4 and taken 4.
Yeah.
So it means you got nothing from me.
So technically you're adding the last number.
I'm doing the opposite operation of that number.
Okay.
If it's add or subtract or whatever, right? I'm doing the opposite operation.
Madam, this is the good way you are teaching. In my, there to tell me, this is minus 4 this side, it will become
Positive 4.
like this,
Yeah,
but
so-
your teaching is good.
Thank you. So there's 2 ways that you can do it, right?
No,
You
that's
can-
not difficult, difficult
20.
for him,
Yeah.
especially, quite
Yeah.
difficult.
Yeah.
C is 20.
But this is good math.
Thank you.
Yeah, C is 20.
Yes, but before we do that, we have to check our work. Remember, the question's asking you to check,
Okay.
right? So let's check. To check, I have to do what?
X.
X
Yeah,
plus
so
4.
x minus 4 equals 10.
Yeah.
So what do I replace x with?
4.
What's x?
14.
14. So it's going to be 14 minus 4 equals 10. What's 14 minus 4? 10. 10 equals to 10. So that means left side equals to the right side.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing because then that means my solution is correct.
Okay.
Rather, your answer is correct.
Okay.
Okay?
So you want to see your work?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, let's do the next one together because I want to do this one. I want to do these together because then you'll have some examples that you can do.
So
Okay, by
X
yourself.
equals 20.
And how did you do that?
So 5.
Plus 5 on
Mhm.
5.
So adding 5.
And adding 5, right?
Yes.
So that gives me
20.
He didn't mention it, but
Good.
Like you're checking your work.
Now you have to check it would work.
X minus 5. So then at the bottom would be 5,
What do I replace x with?
20,
So 20 take away 5 is,
15.
so 15 equals to 15.
Yes.
So that means left right equals, left side, not left right.
Sometimes it happens. No, when we are marching, you know, we need to look.
Yes, left side, right.
Yes.
Sorry. I didn't realize I was.
He lost somewhere.
I'm not lost.
He's enjoying it now. No?
Could you try one with like brackets or something more difficult?
Yes, so let's do these together. We're gonna do these together because I'm gonna let you do more.
That seems easier though, no?
No?
Yes.
You can make one. Oh, this is so heavy.
This is heavy?
No.
No, there's no bread. No, they didn't give us bread today because they were closed. Yeah. Okay, so what do I do with the next one? Which one do I want to get rid of?
Which one we're on D?
So minus x plus 5 equals 15.
So it's plus 5 on it, no?
You want to get rid of the plus 5, so what do?
Minus 5.
Subtract. Good. So if I subtract 5, what do I get here? Negative x equals
10.
10. Now the question is that my final answer?
No.
No, because I don't have x by itself, it's still a negative x.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? Now, I told you there's an invisible one there, right, before?
Yeah, the answer's still the same though, no? You just have to break it down more, or?
Yeah, I still have to break it down. Okay? So what's happening between the negative 1 and the x? What kind of operation? Multiplication. So if I want to get rid of the negative 1, what do I do? It's already multiplied. What's the opposite of multiplication? Divide. Okay? So to get rid of that negative 1, I have to do the same thing to both sides. So divide by negative 1 to both sides.
Okay.
Okay?
Why do we divide it again though?
Because the opposite of multiplication is division.
Okay.
And what I have here, negative 1 times x. Right? You don't see it. You don't see that times.
I
But
guess,
remember I told you, you can write it like this. You can write it like this. Right? You can write it like this. You can write
That's
it
only one multiplication. I thought that was only the rule whenever there's two things.
What do you mean, two things?
Like if there's like you times something by something that equals like division. But this is just 1x and this equals division now too?
Yeah. No matter what, it's negative 1 times x.
Okay.
Right? So the opposite of multiplying, so negative 1 times x is divided by negative 1.
Yeah.
Right? So this is what I'm doing. And then, so what do I get? What do I get? X equals to what? X equals, what's 10 divided by negative 1? Right? Because a positive divided by a negative is a negative. Same rule applies to the multiplication, right? What? I said a positive 10 divided by a negative 1. What do you get? Positive divided by a negative is
Negative.
negative. So it's going to be negative 10.
Oh, so you need the number negative, not the x.
That's right. We don't want, x was already negative, but we don't
Yeah,
want that.
don't want it, okay.
No. All right. Now, let's do the check. So to check, what do I have to plug in for x?
Negative x.
So it's going to be negative 10. So I replace, you know what, let me write it. So I'm replacing the x with a negative 10.
Yeah. Eliminating brackets.
Because negative and negative, it's not nice to write them like this after each other, right?
Okay.
Because I already have a negative, and this is a negative, the 10 is a negative. Writing them after each other without the bracket to separate them is kind of ugly.
Okay.
So does the bracket mean multiplication still, or is it?
That's right, that's right. And then, what are you multiplying basically?
The x's, or the negative side.
The negatives, right? So it's a negative times a negative, remember? When there's two
How come
signs
we're
right after
dividing
each
it
other.
then? It doesn't make any sense then, because you have a negative and a negative, so you divide it, but then we have this one single thing that's supposed to be multiplied, yet that is being divided for the 1x.
Right here, right?
I'm still confused why that's multiplied, like what the rule is, or like what the reasoning is, or why it's divided.
Okay. Do you see that this right here, negative 1x, that's a multiplication, or you don't see that? You don't, do you know that if I have, okay, 2x, what does that mean? What does that mean when you read this? What is that?
2 times?
That's right. Right? When you read negative 5x, what does that mean?
I guess it means multiply it?
It is. And remember I told you from the from long time ago, right? I said there's many different ways that I can write this, right? Remember, it's not only one way. So you can write it like this, you can write it like this, you can write it like this, where this is multiplication, right? 2 times x. You can write it like this. These mean exactly the same thing. They're all multiplication, right? We have to get used to this, okay? This one you will see the most often, the first one, 2x. It's mean 2 times x, right? We have to put that in our mind, and we have to understand that this is 2 times x, okay? Same when I have negative 1x. It's negative 1 times x, okay? Now, opposite of multiplication is division. I want to get rid of this because I want x by itself, okay? Now, to get rid of this, the opposite of multiplication is division. This is what the opposite of. When I do to one side, I have to do to the other side, right? Which basically cancels this. That's the whole reason. We want to get rid of that negative. Does that make sense,
Yeah.
right? So now this is x equals to 10 over negative 1, which is negative 10. Okay? But I want you guys, please, this part right here, this part, you guys have to know that. Right? You have to know that when you see 2x, it's 2 times x. When you see 2 bracket x, that's multiplication. This is something that you have to get used to. All right? Now, are we okay? Can I go back up?
Yeah.
Okay. So now, when I'm checking, I'm going back to my original equation to check. Okay? So I'm plugging in for x. I'm plugging in the value that I just got. So I have negative and then negative 10. So what happens with the negatives when I have negative and negative after each other? It becomes a positive. Excellent. So that's going to be positive 10 plus 5 equals to 15, right?
Yeah.
Is 10 plus 5 15?
Yeah.
So 15 equals 15, right? Yeah?
Yeah.
So left side equals right side?
Yeah.
Good. We have the booklet, right?
I have the last the booklet.
The booklet with the blue sheets?
No, I don't have that.
Okay. Just give me a minute, okay? Because I need to photocopy it for you. For this one, I have 5x plus equals to 4x minus 8. Remember that I want the letters the terms with the same letter on the same side. Okay? So I have 5x. Do you see any other terms with the x? Where is it? On the opposite side of the bridge, which is 4x, right? You see it? You're using my term, and I love it. Okay, now that x, 4x, have to come to the other one. Okay? They have to be on the same side. Okay? So, and then the -8, right? That's a constant, we call that constant. And the 3 is a constant, so they have to come to the same side. So we want the x on one side and the numbers on the other side.
So you add 4 to the 5, right?
Now, this is a +4 or a -4 here?
Plus.
This is a +4, right?
Yeah.
So in order to get rid of it, what do I do? What's
Take
it?
it off.
I take it off,
the
so I have
4
to do
and the 8.
-4x.
You take it off the 8 too?
I take it off the whole equation. I take it off this side,
Okay.
right? This side is together, right? So I take it off this side. So I'm gonna just write it here. I'm just gonna use the right. So I have to take it off this side. So -4x on this side. I have to do the same thing on this side, right? Do you guys see that?
So just
So-
from the x's though, yeah?
Yeah. So that's gonna be 5x minus 4x plus 3 equals to, what's 4x minus 4x?
0.
0. I only have -8, right? Do we see that?
Oh, so.
Okay. I'm gonna show you something in a minute. Okay? Let's just,
I
do you guys
think
understand
that
what
I get it.
happened?
So it's 5 take away 4 plus.
So what part? This side? Or this
no,
side?
just the, like what you have written there, yeah. I don't get it.
So you see that take away 4x?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
take
doing
away
5x, take away 4x, and then plus 3.
And that equals -8.
That, no, doesn't equal to, yeah, equals -8, yes, that's right. Okay, now look what I have to do. I have to get rid of that 3 because it can't be with the x's, right? They're not friends. They can't be together.
Yes,
Okay? So I have to take out a, what's the opposite of adding 3? So I have to do it from both sides, right? To both sides. Okay? So that's gonna be what? So 5x take away 4x equals to -8 minus 3. What's 5x take away 4x? Equals -11. I'm done.
So once you take away the 4x from the top, that gives you 0. But you still have it beside the 5.
Yes,
So
right.
it brings you over.
That's
to the
right.
next
That's
side.
bringing you over to the other
And
side.
because you still need to take the 3 to the other side, you subtract 3 from itself, which brings you 0.
Yeah.
You still have the -3 on the opposite.
That's
Okay,
right.
I got it.
Okay, I'm gonna turn that off. Just 1 second, okay? I'll come back to this one.